But Allison, seriously speaking, I was hoping, I mean, it's your show, you can pick what you want to talk about, but I was hoping we could talk about the opioid epidemic a little bit.
We want to.
Major speech yesterday, and I mean, I just start to feel that we're ignoring issues that affect a lot of Americans. 64,000 dead last year. The president, the first lady, gave a major policy speech yesterday, and there were lots of Democrats in the audience, which made me very happy. It's a nonpartisan issue in search of bipartisan solutions.
It is a universal issue, and I do want to get to it in 1 second. But one last thing on Russia. What is it that worries the president about the uranium deal? And the Russia thing is confusing because, as you know, this president has talked a lot about how Russia can be a good friend. We should move forward with Russia. Can help the U.S. with world peace. Vladimir Putin is not to be feared. So why now the fixation on the Uranium 1 deal?
Well, first of all, the president's not worried about Uranium 1. The people who should be worried about Uranium 1 are the people who benefited from it. His spouse didn't go make a $500,000 speech in Russia while he was Secretary of State and then turn around and be part of the decision-making process for them to get 20% of our rights. He wasn't Secretary of State or President at the time when Russian folks were trying to infiltrate the State Department and get an advantage for this particular deal.
Right,
I mean, that's all, but that was reported in the Hill last week, and I really hope
he thinks
so.
Russia,
we're not worried about uranium, and we're not worried about Russia. That's a different question.
But he wants the informant. He wants the informant to be able to testify. So clearly, he has some interest in what went on with the Uranium 1 deal.
Shouldn't you? Shouldn't we all? I mean, CNN is so vested in Russia, Russia, Russia. Don't you want to hear from everybody now, or are we just going to drop the word Russia forevermore now because it gets just a little too close to the woman who ran last time, won't say her name, and the DNC, who
I
paid
don't
millions
know.
of
You might be breaking the rule there. You might be breaking our moratorium
well,
Kellyanne.
You brought up Russia again, which is the campaign in the last year of those who can't accept the election results, which are a lot of people. But let me just say this. Now, this is a very important point. We have talked about this for the last year. So let's at least close the loop, can't we, and look at what the Clinton campaign, the Democrats did. Now, on Russia, you're asking me a very different question about the President of the United States and Vladimir Putin. You know that he sat down with him for a very long visit when he was, one of the last times he was abroad this past spring and summer. That's a very important visit. They discussed a long range of issues. The media, I hope, have covered that at length. The president has said many times, as a candidate and now as president, if there is something to work on with Russia, if we can work together to defeat ISIS once and for all, he is there.
Yeah, so he's opposed to the Uranium 1 deal? So then why is he uncomfortable with the Uranium 1 deal?
He's not. Listen, you're saying the president's worried. The president's uncomfortable. He didn't make a $500,000 speech in Russia. He wasn't the president when Russians were trying to get an advantage.
Talking about it a lot.
We're
I'm
not
just
worried
trying to get to the bottom.
Don't you want to know it as an American?
What it is that's bothering you about it? What bothers you about it?
Zero. What bothers me about it is that we can't get all of you who have been obsessed about Russia, 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 to cover it now that the shoe is on the other foot.
But what shoe? To cover what part of it is upsetting
Uranium 1 was mentioned during the campaign. Clinton Cash was covered. Peter Schweitzer wrote the book Clinton Cash. It was a documented. People had a movie about this. Uranium 1 was covered at length. I talked about it on CNN, probably sitting across from you at Time Warner.
So you don't think that deal should have happened? Is that the problem?
I think it's exactly what people hate about corruption and politicians and the swamp. I think they look at that and it's not difficult for them to connect the dots. That you have one spouse giving a $500,000 speech, you have another one as a Secretary of State, you have folks trying to get advantage while she's Secretary of State, and then voila, 20% of the U.S. uranium rights go to a Russian interest. That's not difficult for people to understand. That's why a majority of in CNN's polling last year, I know you got rid of your pollsters, but CNN's polling last year showed that a majority did not trust and did not think Hillary Clinton was honest and trustworthy. It's for reasons like this.
One last beat on this, just so that I understand, because there were these 9 agencies, one of them was the State Department when Hillary Clinton was there, that did approve this Uranium 1 deal. I'll pull it up for you on the screen so that people can see it wasn't just Hillary Clinton, it wasn't the State Department. So are you saying, Kellyanne, that all of these agencies somehow had some vested interest in enriching Hillary Clinton or the Clintons, that everybody was in on this, the Department of Defense, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Homeland Security, and that's why they let the Uranium 1 deal go through?
I did not say that. I just think that we should continue, those especially who have had such a vested interest in basically 9 to 12 months, should continue to look at it from this angle. And since you and I have been talking, I have a meeting now, but since you and I have been talking, 2 Americans have died of a drug overdose. I'd like to give up the rest of the interview to them since we didn't get to the very important issue of the drug demand. I'll come back.
Kellyanne, hold on. Just